Man United 4, Real Sociedad 1, and we're through, guys. We're through, but what's most important is it's not just that we're through. We are through with probably the best performance that we put in all season. I know some of you might say that Everton game was good, 4-0. I think this one tops that. You know why? Forget everything else except that we were good from minute 8 all the way through. Obviously, we got progressively better as they got the red card. But let's just talk about initially, right? 3 players. In fact, I want to talk about 4. 4 standout players. Who are these guys? Casemiro, Zirkzee, Bruno, and Heaven. These 4 stood out from the rest. And Dorgu as well, to be honest. So it's actually 5. Dorgu as well. These 5 players put in an extra shift. They deserve all the plaudits. I mean, the rest of the squad do, except one particular individual, which I think you guys already know who that is. Except him, everybody else deserves credit in that team. They actually put in a team performance. That is why we won today. If you want to say Amorim ball, I think this is the first time, maybe it took 20, 22, 23 games, but we finally saw a glimpse of what Amorim ball could be. And we need to see this more consistently, obviously. We're not going to get carried away and say, oh, you know what, we're winning the league next season or whatever. We're not going to do that. But if this is anything to go by, we play the same exact system and we're going to see results. So, you might be asking, why did we win this game? What was the deciding factor? Basically, Amorim stuck to what he thought the team plays best. This is what I was calling for before this game as well. I was saying, if Amorim decides, you know what, I want to impress people, I want to play tippy-tappy football and then win the game, I would be against him 100%. Because always stick to what is working. And yeah, okay, maybe Amorim took time, which is my biggest problem with him, by the way, that he takes too much time. But unlike Ten Hag, he is not too stubborn to the point where he will not change the thing. So he changed his system from whatever he was trying initially, which it looked like there was an absent void in this entire team. Like, what the hell are we trying to do? But I think in the last 4 or 5 games, we moved to a more of a low block. And we've been consistently seeing this low block system. When we've seen this low block system, you can see that most of the players are more comfortable with playing this. Like it or not, what I would say is, ditch that possession system, ditch everything else, stick to this low block, and buy better players for the system. If we had even better, higher quality of players, if we had Ahmad and Kobe in this team, I think we would have beat them not just 4-1, could have been 6 or 7-1. It could have been really bad, you know. The chances we created, today we have to hold our hands up. Even though we scored 4, it wasn't actually our day. Because if it was our day, we would be winning the 6-7-1 comfortably. Maybe even by halftime, we're already done. Game over. And then second half, we just rolled them over. That's what should have happened. And who was very, very ultra instrumental to this system, to it working today? Like I said, firstly, we need to talk about the midfield. Bruno and Casemiro, both their creations, notably Casemiro, that dink ball that Casemiro kept giving in that first half. You know how deadly that was, especially when we won our first penalty. Casemiro dinks it, Bruno squares it, and Højlund rolls over. But anyway, we win the penalty. We win 1-1. We win the second penalty, and then we go on. But Casemiro was so instrumental. Tackles in, mopping up. Him and Bruno formed the perfect partnership today. Maybe it's because Sociedad plays a slower game, and so we could actually deal with them. And yeah, they aren't the best team. We're not going to act like Sociedad's top of La Liga. You know, we know where they are. But regardless, this is the kind of team, this is the kind of players that we usually fold under. Casemiro, outstanding. His vision is out of this world compared to all the players that we have. Him without the legs to run the midfield, he's still putting in a performance that's a 10 out of 10. Casemiro was a 10 out of 10 today. Like, there's nothing you can fault him for. Along with him, Bruno as well. Yeah, you might say the only thing, and this is nitpicking literally, the only small thing I could say that's a negative today was that one free kick that he took where he just blasted it out. But I mean, you know, if you put in a performance like this, right, I can forgive that. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Forget the goals. Forget the 2 penalties. Forget the last goal as well. Look at the way that he was servicing all our players. Look at the way he's creating, finding small spaces. This is what we want Bruno to do. And I would say over the last 3 or 4 games, Bruno's been good. He's been our player basically. But today he added, along with the goals, the clutch moments, he added performance as well. Running the midfield with Casemiro and himself. 2 penalties, ice cold. No problem with that. 3rd goal, what a finish as well. This is what we want from a captain. This is what I call a captain's performance. And yes, normally he loses his head a lot and he keeps moaning, which is the biggest problem. Which is why I think he shouldn't be our captain. But when you talk about just as a player, just forget the captain aspect, forget about the moaning, whinging and all that. He's literally a 50-50 player. Sometimes he's absolutely world class. Sometimes he's absolutely shit. Today he gave in an absolutely world class performance. And for that, you know what? Even your biggest hater, you have to appreciate that. Bruno was amazing today. And next, Joshua Zirkzee. This guy has been through so much. He's been through hell and back, literally. The kind of criticism he gets, the way that he was written off after 3-4 months, people saying he's not good enough. Some people said he will never make it. You could say this is a slow game, so Zirkzee could dictate. But it's not like Zirkzee doesn't do this in the Premier League. What am I talking about? I'm talking about service. I'm talking about dribbles. When he gets the ball, right? The way he glides through opposition, he plays like a 90s or a 2000s player. He doesn't play like a 2010, 2020 player. He's not pace and power, but he's elegant. And this elegance will add more to our team. At the 10, he is probably, arguably, our best 10. When Zirkzee plays in the 10, imagine this. If we have Kobe in the 10 next to him, and we have Ahmad as a right wing back, we have Dorgu as the left wing back, and then all we need is a striker. If Amorim persists with these players, with these creative players out wide and in the 10s, then our striker might as well just be a goal scorer. I don't really care. So even Osimhen would work in that case. But this works because Joshua Zirkzee exists. Guys, his passing, 10 out of 10. His dribbling is 11 out of 10. His footballing brain is up there with Casemiro. Which is why sometimes you see Zirkzee plays a bad pass. You might think Zirkzee isn't on par with everybody else. Yes, he's not on par with everybody else. He's a level apart. You know, in the 2020 game between Man United and City, in the derby before lockdown, Bruno plays a dink, right? And if that dink was to any player except Anthony Martial, you know we don't score, right? Why is that? Because his footballing brain is next level and he's already anticipating the chances. If that was Rashford, do you think Rashford makes that run? No. The same way, Joshua Zirkzee, with his passing, with his positioning, everything, it is on a different level to most of the players around us. We have a few limited players and a few shit players, just completely shit. Because of this, when Zirkzee is looking for a pass, when he's looking for a dribble, when he gets into space, he's staring at these players who are like 10 steps behind him. And so, he doesn't get a goal, he doesn't get an assist. And some people say Joshua Zirkzee had a bad game. But that doesn't mean he had a bad game. That just means that the rest of the team is not on his wavelength. Same thing with Casemiro. You see Casemiro lagging sometimes. Sometimes he loses the ball. Why is that? Because he's scanning, he's looking for the pass, but then there's no option open. So now he's just scrambling because he's like, somebody get into position, but nobody gets into position. And now we're on the back foot because they've overturned the ball. And then they score and then they're like, Casemiro is to blame. Is Casemiro to blame? No, he's not, because there's space wide open. This is what happens when technical players play. People just assume that if they had a bad game, that's because of them, because they did not put in a shift. No. It's because the rest of the team also has to perform to their high level. How can you blame somebody for playing on a better level, on a higher level than everybody else? That's all I'm saying. So Casemiro, Bruno, Zirkzee, just outstanding. And in the tier just next to that would be Dorgu, who won us the penalty, who was getting runs in behind, got the red card as well. A beautiful run for that as well. Finally, guys, we have a player who at wing back thinks outside the box. Basically, making inverted curve runs, which we have not seen for the longest time at United at least. Dorgu, he is raw. We can admit that. He is raw. Right? He's not the finished article. But you can see with the actions he's trying to do, with many of the things that he's doing, this guy is a world-class player in the making. He's only... I didn't even realize till today that Dorgu is only 20, by the way. I thought Dorgu was like 22, 23. To see the level of impact that a 20-year-old can have makes you think maybe you don't need to give players certain time to show signs. Dorgu, up there as well. But then, obviously, you had the other three. And, in my opinion, a very, very solid performance from Aiden Heaven. £1 million. £1 million is all we paid to Arsenal to get him in this February. He played against Arsenal. He played against Sociedad. Two games that we have to admit are high pressure moments. Sociedad, this one, if we went out today, game is over, season is over, and it's finished. Everybody is in the hot water. Everybody, the manager, the players, Ineos, Glazers, whoever you want to call it. Heaven showed up today. Heaven showed up against Arsenal as well. And I'll be very honest with you. Because he's a young centre-back, I want to see, forget how you react to things. Because, you're going to mess up. Especially as an 18, 19-year-old centre-back, you're going to mess up. But I was looking at the particulars of what is he doing? What are the mistakes that he's making? After 4 or 5 minutes of just focusing on him throughout this entire game, there were 4 minutes just on Aiden Heaven. I realized that his only flaw was nervousness. And he's even got better at that. He's controlled himself a little bit more than in the Arsenal game. The Arsenal game, I thought he was a little bit frantic. But this game, he showed me that you coach him enough, he can get to certain levels. Maybe not starting at United, but at least minimum a squad player that we can use. Aiden Heaven, at 18, 19 years old, at centre-back, put in an amazing performance. And this performance is possible because Ruben Amorim got his tactics right. The players decided to play, put in 7 out of 10s, most of them. And third thing was the fans. I don't say this often, but today, right, you could hear Old Trafford clearly, distinctly, even through the TV. You could hear it. You could hear the pyro going off. The fans knew what to do and they delivered. That's the most important part. Even when Sociedad scored 1-0, the United fans were going off. We could hear this. There was a different aura about United today. Like, the players were different. The fans were different. It felt like a European atmosphere. Like, this is what we actually are fighting for. This is why we watch the game. And then the players go in and they put in a performance like this, which is what we finally did deserve. And then we score the 4 goals. And ultimately, all I have to say was this was the perfect game that we played this season. I just hope we can see a couple more games like this season. Now, the next game after this in the Europa League, in the quarterfinals, will be Lyon, which is no easy game, guys. I know they might get relegated because of their financial rules or whatever. But that team, if you check out the team, the level of ballers that they have in that team, it is very scary. Especially Ryan Zirkzee. He's a player I would welcome at United, but when he plays, he plays. And so we have to watch out for that. But anyway, that's Lyon. That's later. That's quarterfinals after the international break. But let me just end on this note. This is the best performance that we put in all season. United deserve all the credits. Casemiro, Bruno, Zirkzee, Dorgu, Aiden Heaven. Forget Hoyland. I'm not even going to talk about it because this is a good day. We don't get these days. So I'm going to talk about just the positives. Leave it at that. Good game, guys. That's United 4, Real Sociedad 1, and see you all in the next one.